Hello there, and welcome back to Good in the Middle Way. I'm your host Rob, and I'm so happy that you're here. Truly, this is a delight. So you might be wondering now, what is the middle way anyway? Well, today I'd like to go over and introduce the idea to you and why the Buddhist path is often called the middle way and how its teachings are still relevant to modern life. Now, the Buddhist teachings are thousands of years old and solved suffering for a lot of human beings. And I believe what's in these texts and these teachings are still very relevant because human beings have not changed that much despite our tools and technology. Our suffering is the same, our mental afflictions and these defilements, but this is all more than 15 minutes will take, so we'll be going over this journey for some time. Now, in an oversimplified nutshell, the Buddha lived a very lavish life in a palace, which he then renounces and joins the Jains and practices a Jainism in search of enlightenment and these higher states of consciousness and what is life really about. And he goes between these two forms of, lavish comfort and extreme pleasures and just, a palace you would never want to leave. People to this day would be like, why would you leave? But he's stirred to complete asceticism. He's starving, he almost dies. And it's under the Bodhi tree when, I believe it's milk he drinks, some kind of porridge maybe. I think it's even debated, but either way. And in that meditation, he reaches enlightenment and finds this middle ground, this middle way. And he realizes the Four Noble Truths and then the Noble Eightfold Path. So today I'm going to draw from two texts. I could start here actually with Jack Kornfield. This article is online and I'll link it in the description, so I hope you can enjoy, because he might say it a bit better than I can, as he's, so well versed. So let's start. Buddhist psychology is neither a path of denial nor affirmation. It shows us the paradox of the universe within and beyond the opposites. It teaches us to be in the world, but not of the world. This realization is called the middle way. My teacher, Ajahn Chah, talked about the middle way every day. In the monastery, we contemplated the middle way. At twilight, 100 monks could be found seated in the open-air meditation pavilion, surrounded by the towering trees and dense green forest, reciting these original verses. There is a middle way between the extremes of indulgence and self-denial, free from sorrow and suffering. This is the way to peace and liberation in this very life. If we seek happiness purely through indulgence, we are not free. If we fight against ourselves and reject the world, we are not free. It is the middle path that brings freedom. This is a universal truth discovered by all those who awaken. It is as if while traveling through a great forest, one should come upon an ancient path traversed by people of former days. Even so have I, monks, seen an ancient path, an ancient road, traversed by the rightly enlightened ones of former times, said the Buddha. The middle way describes the middle ground between attachment and aversion, between being and non-being, between form and emptiness, between free will and determinism. The more we delve into the middle way, the more deeply we come to rest between the play of opposites. Sometimes Ajahn Chah described this as like a cone, where there is neither going forward nor going backward nor standing still. To discover the middle way, he went on, try to be mindful and let things take their natural course. Then your mind will become still in any surroundings, like a clear forest pool. All kinds of wonderful, rare animals will come to drink at the pool, and you will clearly see the nature of all things. You will see many strange and wonderful things come and go, but you will be still. This is the happiness of the Buddha. Wow. So that's a great intro. It sums it up nicely, I think. And so why does this matter to our modern life? I think it's very easy to see now with social media that having charged, polarizing views, these things have existed as long as humans have existed, but not the social media aspect. But people become defensive and argumentative, and there is a sort of issue when any of us take a dogmatic stance and a very, how should I say, authoritative sort of mental, stance and standpoint on things that may not be as concrete as we think they are. And now Buddhism has a lot to say about things being concrete and inherent existence, but that will definitely be another episode. I would say though that when we're in those places, we find ourselves argumentative, defensive. We can see how it enrages us and even brings some people to violence, and how these mental states really lead to more suffering, both for ourselves and others. And so, outside of the external, we also should think about the internal. When we have such rigidity in our minds, we fail to grasp that things could be another way. And in fact, when we're presented with that new information in our lives, we struggle sometimes to change and adapt. I know personally that more than once that this has happened, so now I can live more free and fluid, though not completely free, admittedly. I can imagine you have probably experienced something similar. I really believed things were this way. I believed this friendship to be this way. I believed my partner to be this way, or my parents to be infallible. And I one day learned that they were something else, and things had changed. And Buddhism has a lot to say about change as well. So we don't want to live, though, in attachment and aversion. We have this mental grasping that is not always for physical objects. When they talk about objects, it's also mental objects, mental ideas. A Western psychologist might say, you are really attached to the outcome of your actions, or seeking a certain outcome that's not manifesting. And it's these kind of attachments that can lead us, as we all know, the world never tends to go to our script and how we want it, right? So I would say that is a great way to get a small taste of what this is and what the middle way is sort of about, is finding a balance and walking, in between these extremes. And you can be convicted in certain thoughts, ideas, which is important. You don't want to leave food on the stove and have it on, right? That would lead to a fire, let's say. And so you would not, you'd be very authoritative about telling someone not to do that. And that's important. But a lot of times we really want to find that, I call it the 80 to 85%. Like I'm sure, or certain things are scientifically fact, so there's not much debate there, but always leaving a little bit of room to be challenging and challenge that. Even the Buddha himself, he encouraged challenging his ideas. He said, don't follow me because I'm the Buddha and the Buddha said. You need to question in your own self, in your own processing, is this true and why? Amongst other things. So one great book that's an introduction to all this, as well as many texts as you see behind me, is The Middle Way by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Faith Grounded in Reason. As you can see, it's quite a short book. Mine has a bunch of flags because I stopped necessarily writing all over my books in case I lent them out, though now I go back and forth and take notes however you like. It's also a tool, and thank you for that. This book was highly recommended by my mentor and Chunglarata Rinpoche, who you see pictures behind me. And His Holiness covers several scholars over the centuries. The one, as I was perusing this book to give you more information, was Nagarjuna. And you could plug that into Google. You can find a lot about Nagarjuna and the text. I think one is called The Trustees, and it's a longer title, but I think it starts with The Trustee of something. And, the Tsongkhapa's Lam Rim, which, this whole series here describes the middle way. This smaller book, many other books, many videos. And so I encourage you to keep interested, keep curious, And keep aiming to strive to find that balance in your life, because this balance will lead you to a true, sustainable, lasting peace. And so with that note, I'd like to end there. I thank you so much for being here. If you feel inclined, please like and subscribe so others can see. It helps the algorithm along, but totally up to you. We're on this journey together for much different reasons. And I'm so happy that you're here. So, thinking about peace, let's come back, have a pause. May you be well and happy. May you be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. Peace in and peace out. Thanks again. Until next time, have a wonderful week, wonderful day, wonderful month. I wish you well, and with all my metta. Thank you.